Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, where we have been set upon by dwarven pirates, ferocious dwarf pirates. I'm a little bit concerned about this. They have 3 units of Thunderers, which are dwarf riflemen. They only have half as many figures per unit as the Vampire Coast riflemen, but they're considerably more accurate, I believe. And I'm very concerned about not just the damage they're going to be able to do to our flying units, but also to our dinosaur. As you can see, the armor their missiles are largely armor piercing. And then also they have organ guns. These are proper artillery units, like you can see a little bit here. It's just a bunch of gun barrels lined up next to each other. Also very worried about the health of our dinosaurs in the face of these things. And a bunch of their melee troops are anti-large, armor piercing. Really, if there's any faction that's going to be really good against dinosaurs, it's probably these guys. I'm actually a little... I don't know what our strategy is here. Probably we're going to want to line up our flyers like at opposite sides of the field and try to get around behind the organ guns. They are artillery, so they don't turn or retarget particularly quickly. But I'm definitely very worried. We're going to have to get some pretty good croak explosions off here, I think. Fortunately, with Croak being the only magic user in the army, we don't have anything else to spend our wins on. And our sources will at least be good at approaching the dwarves. I don't actually know how Saurus units fare against dwarves in combat. I would expect that the dwarves would win, but that it probably is going to be kind of a slow fight. Okay, this is interesting. A thing here to provide us with a little bit of cover as we approach. Let's take advantage of that. Let's try to get a bunch of our guys, especially our people who are useful up close but a little bit vulnerable to organ gunnery. Try to march up behind this thing. We don't have to be quite so careful with the Sauruses thanks to the shields. We don't have any idea how they're setting up, unfortunately. It's possible to like put the organ guns way in the back corner over here. So I am going to start our flying units as close to them as possible, spread out by the edges of their spawn box, and in fact, we can get these guys over a little bit further. Maybe even... Okay, there's no space behind the enemy spawn box, but actually, the spawning area does not cover the entirety of this side of the map. We can start back here, and probably be able to access those organ guns pretty quickly, actually. You guys may as well start right behind the obstruction. No reason not to do that, I think. We are not going to want to stay terribly grouped up, because the organ gun, you know, we don't want to eat all of those shots directly into like a big mass of our dudes. But I'm really not sure exactly what to do until we see the positions of things. Okay, so let's talk about their ranged units. They have these iron breakers. You can see iron breakers have an ammo bar, but they don't actually have a proper ranged attack. Each unit of iron, or each figure of iron breakers, is carrying a couple of like satchel charges, like grenades, and they will hurl them at enemy units as they approach. They do not have the ability to throw them high enough to hit flying units, so I don't think we're in any danger there. We have the rifles, and then over here we have a couple of units of iron drakes. These guys are carrying dwarf-sized flamethrowers. I think they can shoot up into the air, and they probably will mess us up pretty quickly if they do, so we have to be really careful about those as well. So one of the units of organ guns is sort of in the middle. The other one is actually over here on the edge, and I think we are just going to try to blitz them with these 3 dudes. Yeah, man, I'm nervous here. I do not think this is a good thing for us. Okay, so let's take the dinosaurs. I apparently failed to click on them. There we go. Just try to get up behind this thing as quickly as possible. So, I think given the organ guns and everything, we probably have to approach them. A battle that involves a lot of us sitting back at artillery range definitely favors the dwarves here. But unfortunately, we're going to have to approach into those grenades and the rifles and stuff. I'm definitely worried. Okay, so mostly people are going to just try to stay center. Lord Croak needs to advance as quickly as possible. So what is the range on Deliverance? Okay. He's going to have to get probably further forward than this to hit them. We'll see how things work out. Alright, what are we going to do with these three? And I certainly want to hit the organ gunners. Let's try to fly over... I don't think the organ gunners can be the first target on this side. We probably are going to have to do something about these masked up shooters. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very worried here. I do not think this is going to go very well for us. Let's just grab a unit of dudes here, and yeah. Quickly, quickly. Okay, it looks like they're content to march forward and not stand back and... Never mind. Never mind, they're absolutely going to just stand back and shoot at us. Well, that means that we need to try to drive through them. The good news is the organ gun on this side is turned around. Yep, this organ gun is doing the same thing. Let's have a little bit of a split up here. We're going to eat a couple of rough volleys of organ gun fire. Fortunately, they won't get to shoot at us very many times. So what do we want to do with the salamanders? The salamanders are pretty short-ranged. But we need those explosions. I'm kind of thinking maybe... we go after the Thunderers pretty aggressively here. Which is like, we have to open up one of these sides. Yeah, the organ guns are not paying attention. This is the time for the salamanders to go in. I'm terrified of committing the Stegodon and having it just get hacked to pieces by all their anti-large. Let's be wary of that. And we are instead having our source spears just run all the way over here. We are going to have to watch the salamanders pretty closely because they're pretty fast. And they're actually they're gonna arrive ahead of a lot of our other units. Okay. These guys are not first priority with the rocks. First priority with the rocks has got to be the Thunderers. What are you guys doing? Go on. Keep moving. Okay. Yeah, as long as the organ guns are facing backwards, I'm not actually that worried about them. We have other problems. Here... The organ guns are turning to face the other guys. Let's have you guys turn around and drop on these... Oh, man. There's those flamethrowers that I was talking about. Yeah, we're like immediately losing dudes in huge numbers. And the dwarves are hardier. Giant slayers are super fast, just really crazy fast. This is bad. Okay, you guys need to get over here and give me some poison. The red-crested skinks should do quite a number on the slayers if we can get them in on the slayers. Slayers do not wear armor. They're pretty soft targets. Who has rocks left on this side? We got to do... Unfortunately, we have to do all of our rock drops on Thunderers, I think. They're too dangerous. Then we can kill the organ gunners with just attacks. If you guys reform... You used your rocks, you used your rocks. Let's do some normal attacks right here. You guys probably need to rock drop on the flamethrowers. You all have to fall back because I underestimated the speed of those giant slayers. Giant slayers do a lot of damage, but they should, I think, probably not do super well against the Sauruses. Sauruses are not great fighters, but they are good enough fighters to be able to kill those guys with their no armor. Quickly, quickly. Wow, that didn't do anything at all. Okay. So, we're gonna probably end up just losing a bunch of our units of flyers, and I think I'm more okay with that than losing almost anybody else in the battle. Okay, so we got Slayers, and Slayers. These right here are the perfect units for the Skinks to kill. Let's have some of our units of Skinks get over on this and flatten them out. I'm definitely going to have the Saurus Old Blood head this way. He should be able to get in there and do some pretty screwed up stuff. He should get the job done. I'm actually going to have these guys maybe not attack directly. We could have the Stegodon. You know what? I'm going to have the Stegodon. Are those just normal Longbeards? Yeah. I have the Stegodon move around this side. Head up here. If he can get into these ranged units that are distracted by the flyers, he should be able to do some good work. We're just gonna let the flyers get used as a distraction. Alright, this unit of Thunderers is the place where we are dropping our last rock. And I think on this side I want to get, well, maybe we want to focus on these Thunderers instead. We're close enough to the organ gun, and we have some stuff that's pretty fast. I don't know that I'm terribly afraid of the organ gun getting good kills on us anymore. Can I throw a good deliverance of Itza from here? I totally can. That ought to be worth some wins. Okay, so who's the guy with the rocks? We need to make sure that we are getting that rock throw down. Didn't somebody? Yeah, you guys. Okay, here we go. This will give us an opportunity to watch the deliverance, too. Attack. That's actually pretty good for something to do that much damage to dwarves. Is pretty significant. It's worth noting. I don't think I actually showed this, but almost all dwarf units have natural magic resistance, and quite a bit of it, dwarves are just naturally magic resistant. So for Croak's spell to do that much damage, it's actually pretty great. I think probably he needs to fall back behind the line now, get ready to drop his defensive dome. Okay, you guys need to form up like right here and prevent anybody else from getting through. Provide some cover for the salamanders. Let's get this other unit of skinks out here. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm pausing a ton. This is definitely the battle that we are most likely to lose of any of the battles we have fought so far, I think. Maybe the Croak quest battle was a little bit more dangerous, but not by much. Alright, so that Stegodon's doing the Stegodon thing. Okay, both of our units of skinks decided not to avoid the enemies. Big damage resistance. I mean, we're doing some good work over here. Yeah, it's just like move around, make them turn a lot. Okay. So they're trying to keep a unit of Ironbreakers behind. Like, what I want to do, obviously, is this. But I'm a little worried that, you know what, if the red-crested skinks eat all the grenades, then they eat all the grenades. I guess I'm not going to stress too much about it, as terrible as that sounds. Could we get away with a Deliverance 1? Do these actually do different amounts of damage? Does it say? Massive magical damage. Yeah, I'm not sure if the difference... Okay, it looks like there's a different amount of armor piercing on them, because this is weak against armor and this is strong. This is good against armor. I guess we'll do a 3 then, because dwarf units are armored. With the exception of the Slayers, dwarf units are armored. Actually, these are Slayers though. Yeah, let's give them the little one instead. They're pretty grouped up for us here. All right, we've gotten some alright damage in. Let's have you guys work the Iron Drakes. Yeah, they just have 2 units of Longbeards here. What I really want to do, let's see if we can micro this guy around. What I really want to do, obviously, is get the dinosaur into the siege crew. If we can make that happen, that would be lovely. One thing dwarves do not have a lot of is running speed. They're pretty bad at catching people. You can see we can just move around them very easily. Our Lord is under attack. I believe that our Lord does not have any special combat skills. Yeah, he's too low level. Right, let's keep providing assistance over here. So the Longbeards are pretty torn up. Salamanders did some good work on them. Drop this here. I'm going to keep casting the cheap one wherever we can easily hit Slayers with it. Yep, and exactly what I thought was going to happen over here is happening. Honestly, not the worst outcome in the world for the red-crested skinks to eat all that. Another thing dwarf units have in spades is leadership. Very difficult to get dwarves to break and retreat. You can see these guys are almost dead and they're still fighting. Yeah, we're gonna have to kill these dwarves like almost down to the last man. Alright, well, get in on those guys. This is going terribly. Everybody just fall back and fight some people we can actually fight. Okay. While these guys are not getting killed terribly quickly, although we did manage to catch a moment here where this dwarf is just having a terrible time. While they're getting dinosaured very actively, they have a hard time shooting, as you might imagine, so he's providing some value immediately. We're totally getting our asses handed to us, though. You know, I do not want to downplay that. This is not going well. I might go for a big deliverance of it's on these guys. We just don't have anything else to do with the magic, right? Yeah, let's test out exactly what good against armor means in this circumstance. Okay, what it means is pretty freaking good against armor, actually. Do we want you guys to run out of there? Yeah, having the Fire Leech Bolas work on the Iron Drakes, it's just not happening. The Iron Drakes are too tough for the Fire Leech Bola attacks. Okay, we're almost done with these Giant Slayers. It has not gone super cleanly. Let's see if we can disengage one of the units of Red-Crested Skinks. These guys, maybe. I think they're a little bit less in. Because I would love to get a good flank on, and you guys could just make it so you don't die. Hey, everybody. Survive for a while, why don't you? Let's try to wing these guys out. Let's see if we can get some shots in here. See if we can get a little bit of morale penalty on the enemies here from shooting at their flank as well. I do love how fast the salamanders are. It's very helpful. Unfortunately, Ironbreakers are actually extremely good at melee combat as well. They're just very, very good units. Alright, see if you can get in there. Careful. Don't actually run into the Ironbreakers. I don't want you getting stuck in melee. Okay, this is happening slowly. Have we chased the crews? Nope, the crews have not been chased off the guns. They really, really want to stick to those guns. There's our Longbeards. We're definitely losing this whole front, which is real crappy. Hey. Boy, sometimes they're really don't want you to draw your formation. I just want these guys to I want them to come over here in a way that's kind of narrow, because I would really love it if they actually got around the backside of those enemies instead of just shooting them in the front like I think they're going to do. Okay, so what do we have here? Hammerers, there's some Giant Slayers there. A small explosion might do good damage. We probably should just save up. The big deliverance is only 12. We can get to 12. Okay, so we're shooting at... have these guys just get away from the flamethrowers. We'll figure everything else out later. Just get away from the flamethrowers. Yeah, Dinosaur's trying. He's not killing him fast enough. Okay, they're kind of doing what they're doing what I want them to do. The Ironbreakers are having a tough go of it. Go ahead and throw up the shield on everybody who's still able to take shielding. Alright, stand there and be tough, little skinks. No, never mind. Back up. Back up a little bit. They have another whole unit of Ironbreakers left. Well, I mean, we know where the Deliverance has to go. Our Feral Stegodon has rampaged. This is a pretty bad moment for that, because my plan was break these dudes and then attack the Iron Drakes. He'll probably now stay on the Organ Gun, which means he's just going to get cut to pieces by flamethrowers. We're, not winning. We are not winning this battle. Come on. Yeah, you can see, we can reduce them to almost literally no units left alive, and they're still fighting. Really appreciate it when they stop moving like that. Yeah, I need these guys to break so that we can move the salamanders around to fight those ones. Okay, that's a pretty good start, though. Let's hit this. We can probably get a couple more casts off. That might have been the last tier 3, though. That siege crew is running over to fight us in melee. And the thing is, like, a dwarf siege crew is actually... They're not great at combat, but they're not as bad as you might hope. Lord Croak can handle them. Hopefully. Hey, Lord Croak. I might have to have you flank some dwarves in melee. I think that might be the part of the battle that we're at now. How's that Stegodon doing? Okay, well, he ran over to fight the Iron Drakes. That's good for us. We don't really have any flyers. I'm gonna sacrifice attack some of our flyers into these Iron Drake units just to try to get them to stop shooting. Let's see, so Longbeards, Giant Slayers. If we run a flying unit down into the Giant Slayers, they'll get chopped to pieces immediately because the Giant Slayers are specifically anti-large. But if we were to use a flying unit to attack something that's already engaged, just hit it in the back, maybe we could get some damage in? It's not like I'm trying to get every little bit we can out of these units. You know what? Go fight those guys. You can beat those guys. I'm gonna have one of them break off and hit the Iron Drakes. Actually, let's just try to keep these things from shooting at our dinosaur too much more. Alright, Lord Croak is putting up. He's doing something. Alright, we permanently broke the siege crew. My plan was not to use him for melee combat, but, you know, you do what you gotta do. You guys... I'm gonna have these guys come over here. Like, the Saurus Old Blood is definitely holding his own. You gotta give him that. He's been mobbed by dwarves. Oh, these Giant Slayers are engaged. Here, let's get behind them and then swoop. Here's the shield. One of the salamander packs is out of ammo, which is real bad. We're going to have to focus on those hammerers. So you'll notice their lord is still at full health. I don't honestly know how much we're going to be able to do about that. You stay on them even when you're not rampaging. I think we're going to lose. I think we have actually lost this battle in this whole stack. Dwarves, man. I was not prepared to have to fight dwarves. Yep, our lord is about to give up. And I'm trying not to cast the tier 1 explosion. I'm hoping we can get the tier 2. There's still some magic in the bar, slowly feeding into the pool. And we're about to have Arcane Conduit to throw even more magic into the bar. I'm going to cast plus leadership on my man over here. Don't you panic. That's annoying. It backed up just enough. You guys keep working that. The salamanders need to throw the last of their fire over here. He's pretty close to having defeated all these dudes, but he has 324 health remaining. It's probably not close enough. And yeah, this front is dead. We lose over here. Yeah, they don't really have a lot of non-armored guys left, so don't want to have to cast the little one. I'm wondering what the right play is here. I think it might be one of these. Croak is just going to get wounded out if we don't do something pretty drastic. I think I managed to just get out of it. Okay, we dealt some damage there. Those guys are fleeing now, so we can probably... These dudes fall back and focus their poison. I don't really have a plan, though. We definitely can't pull the Stegodon. The Stegodon is absolutely critical. Keeping those flamethrowers from using the rest of their fire on us. Croak can turn around and fight the Ironbreakers, I think. It's just the Dwarf Lord was the problem. Okay, actually, back off, because that Dwarf Lord is now... okay, our Lord is dead. Yep, we're fucked. The good news is, this unit of flamethrower guys is almost dead. Get him. Okay, now while he's distracted. While he's distracted, we'll get in there and croak him. Lord Croak is a legendary character, which means that he won't actually die when he goes to 0 hit points here. He'll become wounded, and then he'll be available to us later. Try to stay away from them. What? I clicked right here. You all saw it. That's a very annoying thing to have happened. Dinosaurs are off here rampaging. You know what? We're all going this way. I am going to get to cast one more Tier 1 explosion, I believe. We managed to actually kill all of the giant slayers, which is kind of crazy. And you know what? The salamanders are putting up a fight. They're actually doing an okay job here. He's not anti-large. He's not hitting hard enough to kill them quickly. What does this cost? 5. Alright. We will make it to 5. Quickly kill these guys. Get in there and blow up your weird frog ghost at them. Alright, we're probably not going to get a better explosion than this one right here, so let's take it. Stegodon, move! He kind of ran into it after I cast it. And he won't move. Alright, well. Okay, you gotta focus on the melee troops because nobody else here can defeat them at this point, probably. Trying to get him to attack. This guy over here, he's gonna have to pay the price. I think we've done all the damage we're gonna get. Those are Iron Breakers. Honestly, I think I maybe have been undervaluing the Salamanders as melee units. They're holding this Lord in place. They are actually kind of beating him. They're doing okay. It is a single Iron Drake. Yep, none of the other factions that we have faced so far would be able to do this. Have a single unit, a single figure from a unit survive, and have it still be brave enough to get back into combat. Alright, well, Croak hit him with his big chair. That'll show that guy. Alright, sadly, our chameleon skinks are out of ammo. They did actually permanently break those hammerers, though, before they went. Try to kill the iron breakers. It's actually really close. Like, we're definitely not going to win, but we got them really close. If Croak makes it over to the Iron Drakes, they're probably dead. He's having a hard time, though. It's a lot of fire. Bad news is these Longbeards are still, like, alive and capable of combat. I don't think we have enough health between our two dudes over here to make this work. Okay, hold on. Where's the other unit of salamanders at this point? Ah, they broke, but they're coming back. Croak, bestow upon them your leadership. You need to get over here and make this possible. Croak is definitely not going to get to cast again. We have used absolutely everything. Well, the good news is we didn't actually have a ton of blessed units in here or anything. We had a couple units of blessed Saurus warriors, so like we're not, with this stack dying, we're not losing anything we can't get back, which would not be true of pretty much any of our other armies. And we are absolutely gonna drag this out all the way to the end, get every kill we can, because we need them to be too weak to fight us again. Not that I think they're going to go after Yarrick right now, but I think that it is possible, at least, that we will encounter them again in the near future. They seem to be hanging out near our stuff. Let's see if we can get these guys around over here. Is Croak? Yeah, Croak's wounded. Oh, am I? Thank you. Very helpful information. It's Feral Stegodon. It has done everything in its power. You can see him slowing down here. He is exhausted. There's just too many dwarves. Everybody try to kill the Iron Drakes. And I mean, Lord Croak's fine. He's dead, but he was dead when he showed up. It's not like a new thing. Yeah, that was rough. What a rough start to the episode. There is honor in this defeat. I'm sure that will be very comforting to all of our corpses. We did manage to keep a lot of their ranged pretty low. You can see the Blessed Saurus warriors did actually manage to kill a whole bunch of units, which is only possible because Slayers run into battle naked. Croak only got 126, but he got 126 kills on dwarves with magic. That's got to count for something. So if we were to have to fight them again, it looks like they still have a couple units of Longbeards. All of the Slayers are 100% dead. There are some Iron Breakers left. I don't know if these wild sea armies can actually replenish at all. It could be that Black Buckthorn is just going to be easy pickings for the rest of the game. But we are definitely going to have to rebuild our third army here. But once we have done so, it should not, we should not have any future problems with him, I think. We did permanently lose a Lord who's level 5 there. That is a not totally inconsiderable loss. That does legitimately suck. The upside here, yep, Lord Croak is in fact a skink priest for the purpose of the game files. That's interesting. Kind of a hacky way to implement that. The good news is we're making a ton of money per turn now that our now that our military spending is down. And that happened during the enemy turn, so we got the huge amount of money immediately upon the beginning of our turn. Alright, we know what you're doing. You are just heading out here. Uldamorin is... Let's see. Uldamorin's not going to get to Skavenblight in time for him to be able to help. So... maybe his play is just to come over to this area and start preparing things for our assault. Yarick will meet him over there. Do I think Yarick can take the 19-unit Skavenblight garrison by himself? Yeah, probably. I think this is probably under control. We got it. It's not a big deal. It's true, I am trespassing. Tiktaq'to over here could start practicing his ability to kill enemies. No heroes in that army. Or we could scout a little bit more. What do I think is more important? Leveling up our hero and making him better at killing stuff is probably pretty valuable. We have a nice opportunity here to practice assassination. Let's go for it. Okay, we failed, but you still get a fair amount of XP when you fail. You get a lot more when you succeed, unfortunately. We almost have enough money for a Rite of Primeval Glory, in case that's a thing we wanted to do. Feral, Carnosaur, Stegodon, and Bastillodon units will spawn at your faction's capital, and all of our armies will get the ability to summon Feral Cold Ones for 15 turns. 3 charges per battle. Wow. That's interesting. Do we want to do this next turn, maybe? Well, we could grab another Slaying Mage Priest. I kind of like the idea, though, of the third army, the one that Lord Croak is going to be in, having a melee-focused Lord. We just didn't have enough time to get that Old Blood really tough. Yeah, I think I'm not going to perform the Rite of Awakening here just yet. Let's think about this big stack of dinosaurs. Maybe that is the way to go. The thing about a big stack of dinosaurs is that it does not have any flying units in it. We are having some pretty good experiences with our flying units. Maybe I just want to build another traditional stack. How are we doing on... Okay, we're 4 turns off of that level up. Do we want to make any big moves here? Probably we want to build one of these at the very least, right? While we have all of this money. Oh, over in the Land of Dervishes, we have the ability to upgrade this port to Tier 5. It's very expensive, but it's 300 extra gold per turn. That pays off pretty quickly. You know what? I'm going to do this. We're not going to start a new stack this turn, obviously. And next turn, we can make the decision about whether we want to recruit a whole ton of dinosaurs, because we will have the gold. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I was happy about the way that battle went, but we will persevere. Somehow we'll hang on. Yeah, they're not even replenishing out here. And then we should have a look at all of our diplomatic situations here, because we're probably improving with a lot of people. We've been fighting some very unpopular enemies lately. So they actually hate us, like a ton. Bordalo is less negative, but pretty negative. Definitely not willing to trade. Well, Leoness will consider it at least. Okay, that's a shame. We can't, unfortunately, make a trade agreement with these guys. Could we get anything else? No. Alright, every little bit helps with the diplomacy. Any contract we can get signed. Trading with the Empire is providing a fair amount of money per turn. We're already trading with all of the elves who would even consider it. The Men of Kislev are not interested. I'm not going to be able to trade with any Norskins. Okay, I mean, we're making some alright money. So, with Estalia and Tilia, we're both trending upward.
Who calls?
Greetings.
But neither one of them is willing to even consider. Okay. I guess we're getting all the trade we're going to have. Yeah, we can put together another army here at Alhaik pretty quickly. We can get ourselves a Stegodon this time, instead of a Bastillodon. A non-feral Stegodon, the kind that you can mount ranged weapons on. I think that would have been pretty helpful to us in that last battle. Yeah, dwarves would be a problem. I would like to not have to fight a lot of dwarves. And the thing is, I don't know that we actually have a good solution. We can tech up a little bit more, but we've seen a lot of our units already. We just don't have anything that's good at fighting a dwarf. A unit of Saurus is holding them from the front, while a unit of red-crested skinks attacks them in the back. Probably pretty good, but we have to have twice as many units as them for that strategy to work. It seemed like the salamanders were powerful. Maybe the solution to fighting dwarves is just build a lot of salamanders. Yeah, honestly, it's not the worst idea we've ever had. Maybe for right now it's good for us to just have 2 stacks, though. Because we're about to have all of our really expensive upgrades become available, all the ones that we really want to make. So maybe we just rake in 12,000 gold per turn for a few turns, get the bank necessary to build all of the buildings we're going to need to build, and then get our 3rd stack back online. And I'm hoping Tiktaq'to is going to be able to handle things down in the corner by himself, but we do know that the last defenders have multiple armies. We're hoping not to have to kill them. What I want is to weaken them enough that they see Confederation as their only chance for survival, and then when we confederate them, we will get their legendary lord. I don't remember who he is. He's a Saurus, and he's good at fighting people in melee combat, I think. He's just like a fighter. Not quite as fancy as Tic-Tac-Toe or Lord Croak, but sometimes a blunt instrument is the right instrument. Such as when you need to crush somebody's skull. Alright, here's hoping that that one Skaven agent there isn't going to be able to run over and slow our army down. There's one thing agents can do that we haven't seen happen at all in this campaign, but it's just incredibly annoying when it does happen, is they can sabotage your army's movement ability and make you only move half speed for a turn or two. It's very frustrating every single time it happens. It's the #1 reason that I think you want to keep an assassination hero somewhere near your main invasion stacks, although preventing other units, or preventing other people's heroes from assassinating the heroes that are actually in your army is a good, strong second reason. Uldomorin is very, very slowly leveling up. Okay, let's see about this battle. Yes, I think we can safely declare war on Ikit Claw of Clan Skyer. Scryer? Scryer. What? Get attack this? What do you do? That city is, I guess, a pixel outside of our attack range. Well, that's annoying because we've 100% let them know what's going on now. I guess we could just go into the Astromancy stance here. I don't know what value that really has. I guess we've increased our chance of intercepting a Skaven army that might come to defend them. We know they don't have an army, but... yeah, I made that attack because I thought we were going to be able to hit the city this turn. Alright, so what do you think? Rasetra is probably... oh, maybe not. I was going to say it's probably a Skaven settlement, but if you look at this, the untainted corruption is rapidly increasing. That suggests that there are, in fact, no Skaven in the area. Maybe it's just actually an empty settlement? That would be weird. Is Doomglade the same way? It is. You know, I thought there were rats over here. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, let's head toward... We have military access with Liberis, so they're not going to get mad at us for walking through their territory. Let's just head toward the last defenders and see if we can talk them over. They're not big fans of us on account of how great and powerful we are. Yeah, we're going to have to confederate them through force. There are basically 2 ways to get a confederation going. You can make the other faction really, really happy with you. A lot of forces will confederate if they're like over 100 positive relationship and you're stronger than they are. Or you can just go over there and stomp them and make them think that their two choices are Confederation or Extermination, and they will usually eventually choose Confederation. Alright, this guy is going to be on guard a little bit, and so harder to kill. No, apparently he's not. Okay, well, let's try again at 47%. Still failed. Well, next time we fail, we'll at least get a level. Okay, and let's talk about upgrades. I don't think we really need to upgrade this building here. So we're just waiting. There's a lot of waiting going on here. Soon, we will have important good stuff to build. I mean, we may as well build a sacrificial altar, because we should have a sacrificial altar in every major settlement. Those are good to have. I don't know that we actually want to build anything else here. I mean, we can build a Shrine of the Old Ones. It's 5% extra money on the 1,200 that we're gaining per turn here. You get all the way up to 12 eventually. That's fine. I wonder if maybe we're at the point where we should start saving. I do want to upgrade the Geomantic Spire, because remember, this is upgrading the money produced by the Spire itself, and then also upgrading the Geomantic Web. And this commandment is increasing the amount of money we're making. And this settlement is actually going to be worth over 2,000 gold when that upgrade is done. So I think that's probably worth pushing. Here in the Black Pyramid, we don't necessarily want to even buy this upgrade. It's another 10 points of growth. Actually, that's pretty significant in a place where there's only 80 growth to start with. And sure, even more money. Alright, we're one turn off of being able to push this forward. That is definitely something we'll do with our 10,000 gold next turn. So yeah, we're just going to enjoy only having 2 stacks for a little while here. It's never good to lose a whole army. But this was maybe the best time of all times possible for us to lose that army, because this is when we really need the gold. So Torgovan and Widrioth, the two Wood Elf factions we just encountered here, live in Athaloran, just north of the main Wood Elf faction, so over there in the Magic Forest. Paravan is Bretonnian. I think they're over here just sort of like in the mass of Bretonnian lands. None of them are likely to be terribly relevant to us. Although I suppose it is possible that we might have to defend Skavenblight from Wood Elves. That could happen. It's close enough to them. Here's Clan Angrand fighting the Wood Elves. And Clan Angrand seems to be pretty happy with us. Maybe we could make a good alliance. If we do ally with all these dwarves, I would expect that it's almost certain that the Wood Elves will come after us at some point. And Wood Elves actually will be a little bit frustrating for us to fight, because they have a lot of good ranged units. The flyer-based army would be terrible against the Wood Elves. I'm not actually sure how we would fight Wood Elves. I guess, just like Sauruses with shields, just run toward them. Yeah, that would probably work. They're not nearly as good in melee. Are you declaring... You are actually declaring war on me. Sorry, this is the... I believe this is the southwesternmost settlement in the world? Why? Okay. I'm not even going to stress my relations with the court. Yeah. We don't need them to come in on this. Every time you ask your defensive ally to declare war with you, there's a chance, it's at least possible. Oh yeah, I'll take this, sure. That's just 500 free gold. It is possible for them to say, no, we're not going to enter that war, and break the defensive alliance that way, and I don't really want our defensive alliance with Liberis to break. And I don't think there's any benefit at all to having them in this fake war that the Sentinels of Zeti have declared on us. I don't think there's any chance that they ever actually send any units over here or anything. It's going to be like how we're kind of at war with that one group of Norskins. Just official declarations. They're trying to make themselves look tough in front of their neighbors. The Top-Knots being a big distraction to the dwarves in this area makes it less likely that Clan Moors actually gets eliminated, which I am not a fan of. I do not like this at all. Sorry, did that guy's... That pirate fleet has a mammoth. How do you get a mammoth to just hang out on a boat? Raise or sack 2 settlements in order to get a blessed Bastillodon with a solar engine. Okay, I'm interested in that. I would like to do that. We'll probably, we'll sack Skaven Blight. That'll get us 1. Theoretically, we should be able to just do this now. Okay, yes, they have a couple units of... Yeah, this should not be a problem. Let's get in here, claim this, we'll sack it, and then occupy it. Make ourselves a ton more money. And then maybe this is the turn we start putting a new army together. Unfortunately, we're not going to have all of the bonus recruitment ranks that we got on that other army. That army was going to be so powerful. It just needed a little bit of time to develop. That lord needed to have some time to get some more redline skills. Ah, that's very frustrating. Dwarves deciding they're just going to take on a lizardmen fleet out in the middle of the sea. I guess, listen, if you're mostly interested in getting gold, I could see how attacking a lizardmen fleet might seem like a good way to do that. It probably had a lot of money. Okay, so we do have to be a little bit careful with our flyers here, because they have a lot of ranged units that can actually make life pretty hard for us. Oh hey, we've fought this battle before. I think we're going to use the same strategy now that we used then. So let's get the salamanders right up here. All of the other melee, yeah, just everybody kind of be over in this area. And then what do we want to do with our flying units? Because we want them over here as well. Not really any sense in doing anything else with the way this this battlefield is set up. Alright, so everybody who's not the salamanders pretty much just get over to the wall. Salamanders, we want to set them up a little bit further back. I think I want to just have to make sure we have a nice clean arc. And it looks to me like they screwed up pretty badly here by putting these Poison Wind Globadiers in this position. I think we're going to be able to kill them before taking a lot of damage from them. There are not a huge number of anti-large ranged units available to a lot of factions, so you really, you gotta make sure you're getting the most out of them wherever you can. I don't think they are maximizing the effectiveness of these units. There's a mountain here, which makes the camera behave incredibly poorly for some reason. Salamanders are just doing wonderful work already. And a unit of clan rats has been spawned in the middle of... pretty much right on top of my dinosaur here. This doesn't seem like a great move on their part. Let's make sure that we hit the lower unit. Oh, they do have a catapult. I suppose we should have some people go over and deal with the catapult. Well, actually, they don't have any ranged units over here. Yeah, the people who have already dropped rocks are probably the ones that we want to do that with. Okay, now we need to make sure that we throw the next sets of rocks on the lower of the 2 units of Globadiers. There we go. You can be on catapult duty as well. Interesting that they completely abandoned this tower so quickly. I'm not sure I think that was the right play. Alright, one more good rock drop on these guys should do the job. And then the rest of their ranged units should be extremely vulnerable to just normal Fire Leech Bola fire. The Poison Wind dudes are at least armored. These guys are very, very easy kills. What? Who's fleeing? A unit of red... What? Oh, they got hit by the catapult. Never mind. Totally reasonable. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Okay, they unfortunately have real spell casting available to them. Let's get these units of skinks out to the side. Yeah, the catapult's a problem. Hopefully not for too much longer. Well, we're absorbing a little bit of its attention, at least. You can chase those guys off. There is a unit of slingers over here that is going totally unmolested. That's got to come to an end. Is all focused up. Okay, we've got the catapults turning around now. Are going to have to keep coming over here and just making sure that we are assigning attackers to these dudes. Yeah, you should kill that, and you two should disengage. Okay. Yeah, the the clan rats that are getting summoned in our units are mostly just a very small attention maintenance cost. They're not a real danger. That is perfect. That's going to actually hit all of them. That's pretty good. Okay. Well, I think we've got most of their ranged units down. I'm going to do one more quick rock drop on these guys, just to make sure. Fan out a little bit. Okay, should be able to finish them. They're doing everything in their power to disrupt my salamanders by summoning units into them. Sorry, I wanted to select the salamanders. It's not a real strategy. Like, we have too much stuff over here. They can't really do this. Why don't you go ahead and melee that guy? So they're blowing a lot of their collective abilities here. We've killed the catapults now. We do still have a lot of storm vermin to fight, which is a little bit of a shame. But it turns out that the salamanders are pretty good at killing heavily armored units. Yeah, that'll work. Summon the rats directly on top of the stegodon. Alright, I think we're probably just about to want to break open that gate. Okay, you don't need to fight them anymore. Just shoot those guys. You can probably let the ones that have fled this far just, what's going on over here? Oh, there's some rats sort of accidentally taking control of this tower for a moment as they run by it. Skirmishers out here. I will say they are expending an awful lot of my ammunition, which is annoying. That's the thing that I legitimately don't like. Might be time to go and knock. I think we're probably hitting about that moment. Let's get the thunderous one over here and have him throw down with this gate. They've got to be pretty close to being out of charges of additional clan rats. Yeah, chase them out on the ground if you have to. Okay, so we got those guys all out of the battle. Probably these flyers are pretty much just done. You guys have a little bit of ammunition left. What do I want to do with it? A lot of the enemies that are left are heavily armored enough that this is not going to be meaningful against them. It's super annoying that sometimes the AI just gets control of their towers by being kind of near them without even actually being in the box. I can tell you that that is not how it has traditionally worked for me as a player. You guys have to get all the way over here. Okay, who has rocks left? Is in fact 2 units. Okay. Let's figure out where we wanna drop stuff. We can definitely kill some storm vermin. Don't want to try to wait. I think I'm just gonna drop here. It's possible at the right place to try to wait for them to group up even more than this. More than just dropping it on one unit, but that works fine. So you probably don't want to drop on the ones on the wall. They're a little bit more spread out. Those are normal spears. I think this is where the other set goes, right? And honestly, we have an opportunity here to just set up the way we want to set up. So we're not really doing anything. Okay, not a lot of enemy left. Gate is open. I mean, it is certainly the case that we have suffered here as well. Those catapults got to do a little bit more work than I would have liked. Get everybody in here. We do still have all of our magic. Saving that for the moment when all of the other stuff ran out, so we haven't expended all of our surprises. There's one unit of salamanders, for some reason, has a ton of ammo. Wow. Those projectiles really come flying off of ammo. Unfortunately, they're completely wasted over there. I believe the Skaven just killed more of their guys. I don't think they did any damage at all to the dinosaur. It was just a really bad cast there. Okay. Time for... Foz Protection. I'm not too worried about Foz Protection. So it's Wind Blast versus, like, Soul Quench, as far as spellcasting goes. Let's try a Soul Quench. See how that looks. Apparently it is a spell that requires you to be, like, right on top of the enemy. Are you not able to... Okay, hold on. So let's have him actually move in out of the gate. I think that might be the problem. Alright, now you totally have vision of the enemy. Let's see it. Okay, so it's sort of a missile spell. It fires out like that. But they are really, really convinced that they're going to be able to do a meaningful amount of damage with that lightning. This might be an okay time for Foz Protection. Can I overcast this? No, I do not have an overcast ability. Let's try to get the salamanders to stop shooting. Just run in here for a second. I'm kind of shocked that they still have Winds of Magic left. Damage reduction for self. That's probably not super relevant. Alright, let's give Wind Blast a shot. Most of these, yeah, weak against armor, that's my concern. Most of these teardrop-shaped, like, breath weapon type spells don't really do a lot of damage versus armored targets, but let's see exactly what... Oh, you know what? That wasn't that bad, and it's very disruptive. Like, it knocks them over and stuff. Turns out dinosaurs beat skating. They have a really hard time with the dinosaurs. Also, the random leaping that the dinosaurs do seems to be pretty good at making the spellcasts miss. We could walk somebody up there and try to kill their warlock engineer, but I'm not honestly sure that it's worth the effort. If we can get these guys to run. I guess I can't. I was going to say run off the map this way, but that's not going to happen, I don't think. Okay, here come some units that we should be able to do a pretty good Wind Blast on. They are not armored at all. We'll walk into it. Okay, that's what that looks like not even overcast or anything. That's pretty handy. Oh, the wizard has come down off the wall. Go get him. I guess these storm vermin right here are probably the ones... No, sorry. I keep trying to click on the dinosaur in front of our Slan. I definitely don't want the Slan to engage in melee combat. Try a Soul Quench on... Okay, apparently that is where this unit of storm vermin are. What are you guys shooting at? Hold on. Stop. Turn off fire. Don't shoot unless you are explicitly ordered to. And this guy won't shoot even if he is explicitly ordered to, it seems like. Okay, so I need... calm my Saurus warriors down a little bit here. Toughen them up. Okay, we got that retreat, that morale cascade going. Yeah, I guess they're running already. Maybe we don't need to cast this at all. Never mind, they have stopped retreating, or they're wavering, but still acting like they're in retreat mode. I'm not 100% sure what they're doing. This. Okay, that did something. That did some work. We get these Saurus units to back off. Alright. Once that Storm Vermin unit is down, all they have left is a couple units of Rat Ogres. And I'd be a lot more worried about that if we didn't have two dinosaurs. There we go. There's that permanent break. That's what I want to see. Try to get a permanent break on these spearmen as well. And we don't really need to permanently break them. All we need is to chase them enough for them to run off the map before they recover. Actually, probably the Sauruses should just chill out. I think they've done enough, probably. You guys are not going to be useful for the rest of this battle. Let's get the Salamanders over to here. And we'll just steg it on them from here. Yeah, we'll keep all of the dinosaurs and... Yeah, this will be good enough. The dinosaurs and the caster and the blessed skink skirmishers should be good enough. Make sure that these dudes end up off the map. The Thunderous one runs out of ammo very quickly, it seems like, but he's definitely not reliant on it. Okay, they're gone. And it really does suck to have a caster who doesn't have Arcane Conduit. He ran out of magic so quickly. So few total casts. They have a Plague Priest over here, but my guess is that they are out of winds as well. Or we would be seeing more casting still. Alright. Everybody go get him. I don't know that we have any spellcasting to do here other than like a single Thaw's protection as soon as the melee is joined. They're already considering running. You can see it on their faces. Yeah, let's throw a buff up on him. Make sure he doesn't get too torn apart by all the explosions. You know, you should probably actually get over here. As much as I do love the way the ballista works, it probably makes sense for him to get into melee. So the skinks can still throw their spears while he's moving. I assume that the ballista does not fire while he's moving. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Alright, well I do believe this eliminates another enemy faction from the game, while gaining us a province we have to control to win, and a city we have to control to win. And all it cost us was an entire stack of very powerful units. Yeah, I'm still like a little frustrated too, because those guys were not part of the conflict, damn it. Somehow, they didn't see the sign-up sheet. It's supposed to be, everybody signs up, and then we take you on one by one, we work our way down the list. Most of you will not receive callbacks. You just gotta understand that going in. It's the nature of the business. Those dwarves, though, they've earned a callback at this point. I think we will have Yarick go a little bit out of his way to eliminate them on the way back to civilization. So depending on what is in Skavenblight, and I guess it is a little bit of a bummer that we don't get to see what the city will be converted into before deciding whether or not to sack it. I guess in this case we would sack it no matter what, because we need the quest. Alright, you get to pick up probably the last level of Geomantic Sustenance. And then we go and properly occupy Skavenblight. And Scryer is gone. This is going to be, okay, a pretty cheap repair. Wow, wait a minute. Was this place really... I guess we did a lot of damage to it when we sacked it. Probably it is not the case that this place was actually tier 3 when we took it over. Well, it's making no money, so we can go ahead and uncheck that. And then... oh... so, climate. We haven't had to talk about climate too much, because we've mostly been in favorable climates, but you can see here, this climate is not good for us. We do not like to live in places like this. So public order here is always going to be bad. Construction cost up, casualty replenishment rate down, and unfortunately, recruitment duration up. So if we want to replace our losses here and get those red-crested skinks back, we're going to have to spend 2 turns sitting. I guess that's okay. It'll give us a little bit of time to recover hit points and get the settlement squared away. We're definitely going to remove this, and I'm gonna probably remove the spawn pools of the Braves as soon as we finish our recruitment as well. Not that I think Skavenblight is a fine place for us to build a bunch of recruitment buildings, but we're going to need the stuff that will let us build it up and hold it first. Let's go interact with Doomblade over on this side. I'm just curious. We probably... if it turns out to be actually empty, I'm not going to settle it. Well, maybe. Because his replenishment rate is super high, so we would get all the people back pretty quickly. And controlling Doomblade would give us friendly territory to fall back and replenish in case things go wrong. Yeah, you know what? I think we can afford to do that. Yeah, we'll be back at full health pretty quickly. Uldo Morin, yeah, just get over here on this landmass. Okay, this time you got him. I believe in you. How many coin flips in a row can one lizard lose? Turns out it's a lot, but at least we get a level up. So we've taken all of our points of Specialist and all the points of Assassinate we're allowed to have. I guess the next thing for him to pick up would be like either Damage Walls or Hinder Replenishment. I don't know that I don't think Damage Walls is terribly relevant. I think we're already pretty good at siege battles. So let's improve our ability to hinder the healing of enemy armies. And he does get a little bit of a boost to his assassination effectiveness. I believe your hero's level figures into the success chance on all of those abilities. Let's see if the dwarves are willing to go... Nope. Still not even willing to consider military access. Well, we'll get there. How about the Southern Realms?
What? I am ready to parley.
These numbers are headed somewhere.
So, greetings, stranger.
Unfortunately, it's going to take them a while to get there. Okay, definitely upgrade Khemri. So we don't have any other big settlement upgrades to do, and I guess we're just continuing to wait. Is there anything that I really want to build here? 5% extra income. Yeah, I guess we have a pretty huge amount of money. Probably the right thing to do is actually to start hiring another lord. Start putting together another army. So is Alhaik a better place to do that than Xandri still? Yes, because Alhaik has the dinosaur building. Alright, recruit lord. We do have a guy that we had recruited for a little while. Oh no, this is the one guy we had recruited for a little while, but we have some permanent bonuses to our lord recruit rank now. So we could get a Strategist Old Blood. I do like that an awful lot. Cunning Old Blood is pretty good as well. Him having poison that he can... being able to put poison on with your actual fighting units is pretty handy. And this is only 5% movement range? Movement range is really important. We're going to take... Nope. I made the decision and then waffled right back over to here. We definitely get Route Marcher. So, do we want to just focus on yellow line stuff? He can't develop into his red line if he dies. So maybe we should focus on making him survivable. Although he is actually pretty tough already. He's just low on... a little bit low on health is all. And we can't get any bonus health until like all the way over here. I guess actually let's lean into his campaign effects. We're going to get the rest of the ambush success chance buffs first. And let's start recruiting some dudes. Let's do this first. We'll get a whole bunch of Sauruses to serve as sort of the core of the army, and then we'll grab some flyers out of the global pool. Ooh, we do have access to ancient salamanders now. We've not actually seen one of these. So it makes enemies flammable in addition to hitting them with tons of fire damage. It has a range of 185, which is the same as the other salamanders, I believe. Oh no, 125. Okay, so a little bit longer. Melee attack of 34, melee defense of 32, so a pretty bad fighter, but it does do a lot of damage if it gets a hold of you. Okay, it seems fine. I think we're going to grab the flyers, like I said, because these are relatively cheap. Yeah, they're cheaper than recruiting the Sauruses this way. Okay. Core of your army is all set, and I think with that we are done with this turn. Still have a ton of money available for the upgrades we're going to need. What do we want to do in Sartosa? Sartosa is actually building up pretty well. Sartosa is also about to rebel, so we do need... Probably this army can go over and defeat the rebellion at Sartosa. I think that should work. Yeah, I don't know that we need to upgrade any of these buildings, really. I suppose... Actually, never mind. I suppose we should upgrade the public order building. This public order seems like a little bit of a problem here. A big part of that is the corruption, and the corruption, of course, is coming down. We still have a lot of provincial instability here to deal with. Yeah, it'll be fine. It probably is worth throwing that. You can see here, the climate here is also bad. It's not as bad, but it's still bad. Alright, we should have that under control. We'll get a rebellion spawn, but it won't be very big, and it won't have time to grow. We will crush it first. Okay, so I don't think we have anything else of great import to do. 2 turns until the Black Tower is max tier, and we go for a couple of our final upgrades for unlocking the last... Excuse me, the last column of our techs. I think we're in a really good spot here. We are in as good a spot as we could be, given what happened at the beginning of the episode. I'm not sure exactly what I could have done to win that battle. That was a pretty rough one. They had a really good composition for dealing with what we were able to bring to the table. People who have both competent artillery and competent normal ranged units are going to be tough for us, because it's going to be so much harder for us to harass their artillery out. And pterodons are not actually very good at fighting ranged units. We have so far been able to brute force it by just bringing way more flyers than our enemies are bringing archers. But dwarf armies will tend to have several units of thunderers or quarrelers or something. Like, we probably will not see big dwarf battles be a lot better than they were there. Probably what we're going to have to do is rely on superior numbers, if it is in fact the case that we have to fight a late game dwarf faction. That said, I still have hope that they will come around on being allies with us. It's possible. Like, we can see there's a break in the blue territory over here. What do you guys want? No, still no on that. Don't be ridiculous. You can see there's a break in blue territory, but the dwarves definitely hold some of this stuff up here, and they might have a couple of those... Oh yeah, see, there are Skaven down here. They must just be in that one settlement, maybe? But it's possible that the dwarves still hold a couple of the world capitals over here, and a proper alliance with the dwarves could put us up to, like, 6 of the 8 capitals we need, because I think we're at 4 now, thanks to Skaven Blight. We have to get one more sack off. I guess that'll probably be Tiktaq'to's job. We have quite a bit of time, I think, on that. Yeah, 20 turns. So Tiktaq'to can sack that little settlement over there. Or even just raise it. It is sack or raise, right? Yeah, maybe. My guess is that that tiny little Skaven settlement is probably not going to be worth a huge amount of money. So we might just burn it down and then worry about rebuilding it later. Okay, extra ammo for our Pterodon Riders. Definitely, like, very immediately, obviously useful. There's going to be a rebellion in Sartosa. Something tells me we'll be alright. And I think this is where we're going to leave it for now. I know we didn't actually get to pass a lot of game turns here, but some momentous stuff happened, and, like I said, we are now halfway to the number of important world capital cities that we need to control in order to win the game. And that really is our last major obstacle. So, that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time tomorrow when maybe we can make some diplomatic progress on a few more. And we'll see you then.